What's up? I'm Colin. Here to answer some questions from Slap Pals. As a fellow pal, excited to do it. These are the unofficial Slap Pal questions. I used to do the actual Slap Pal questions when I worked for Slap back in the day, so it's fun to be on the receiving end. I never really thought this would happen. These are questions from Monkey McPott, who's sitting right in front of me. Since you're part of the old guard, tell us what was better about the slap form back in the day as opposed to now. I mean, honestly, the slap forms were just like cancerous. I mean, it was like the Wild West, and it was just insanity of, you know, people getting into really bizarre wars and photoshopping dicks on each other's faces. And I mean, looking back at it, it was kind of a very toxic place and full of a lot of bullying and stuff. But I mean, you know, at the time that was just super fun. And I spent a lot of really late nights just like up giggling at my computer. I don't know. And as for what's changing now, I don't really go on the boards very much these days, other than just, I mean, I use, you know, photos, video just to like keep track of what comes out. But I mean, I think it's a good thing. There's not as much evil shit anymore, but you know, you lose some shit. I mean, it was super fun. And I made a lot of really good like life friends through it, who I'm still friends with today. And I still talk to all the time. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to think of a lot of their usernames because they're just like, I just know their real names now. Randozzi, Il Murray. I was skating with Il Murray just the other day. Tell us about some of the ideas that didn't work out for Spirit Quest, like the octopus one. It was shocking how many of the ideas actually worked just because of how insane some of them were. But the octopus one, it's on the bonus of Spirit Quest, or it's either on that, or I know that it was on Free Skate Mag for an interview I did with them. It was on an online supplement. But it was one of the split screen chameleon eye things. And in the middle of the line, someone does a tray flip, and they land with only 1 foot on the board, and in one dimension, only his left foot was on this board, and the other dimension, only his right foot was on the board. But so I edited it so he had 3 legs, and there was just one in the middle, and then he had 2 sticking out to either side, like a tripod. And I really liked it. It was Connor Cameron, but it ended up just being too incomprehensible and bizarre. Thoughts on the work ethic between West Coast and East Coast skaters. East Coast skaters have jobs, so that answers the question about the work ethic. Yeah, tell us the Mizark story involving some skate TV tapes that didn't exist, and what is Mizark up to these days? So I'll answer half this question. So this is part where we're talking about the old guard. So there was this, I think he was finally realized this was a real person named David Lumpkins. And he was on a quest to find these NBC skate show episodes, and people were just like fucking with him forever about it. I think he was just kind of mentally disturbed or something. But then eventually, so Mizark was a poster who was just brutal, and he told the guy he had the tapes, but he had to travel to him to buy them off him. He lived in the Carolinas somewhere, I think. And so the guy went there and waited for Mizark to get the tapes. And of course, Mizark didn't show because the tapes didn't exist. And as to what he's up to these days, I think Mizark has grown a lot as a person from what I can tell. So I won't speak to that, but good for Mizark. And I hope David Lumpkins is doing okay somewhere too. And I hope he finally found his tapes. Next person, my name is not Jeff. Since releasing Spirit Quest, how often do you deal with people stealing your work? This is something that I've been asked before, and it's kind of tricky because, I mean, I stole a bunch of people's stuff for Spirit Quest in terms of, like, National Geographic footage. But so it's kind of hard to point fingers. But, I mean, in terms of, there have been a couple direct rip-offs for sure, which is kind of fun to see and kind of frustrating as well because some of them are done by people with a lot of money and brands. But it's mostly just been really cool to see that it's actually had an influence in skate videos. Like, I've noticed pretty obvious things borrowed from Spirit Quest language in a lot of skate videos since then. So it's been really cool to think that maybe our video had some sort of influence on the direction of skate videos. So that's really cool. One example of stealing my work. I mean, I really hate pointing fingers. There was something done for an Adidas video, which was pretty fairly blatant. The split screen stuff, but again, I didn't invent split screen either. So frustrating to see sometimes when people get paid from it. But anyway, do I even care anymore? No, not really. Like I said, I mean, I've even seen influence like extend beyond skating into stuff, which is really cool. I saw a fashion thing the other day, like a big fashion thing that was kind of like obviously related to Spirit Quest. So, following the release, you shared that you had back problems. If you were to retire now, would you be happy? I have retired, and I am happy. So, yes. Finally, thank you for all your great work. Thank you, Jeff, or I guess not Jeff, because that's not your name. Next one. During filming for Spirit Quest or any other project, did you meet any trepidation from skaters because an idea was too out there or wouldn't work? For example, though it came out amazing, I'm imagining a conversation starting with, here, put on this wig while I film with 2 VXs so it looks like a lizard sight. Could cause some second guessing. I mean, honestly, for that stuff, I was just working with only my really good friends. Like, I've never really filmed with people that weren't already my good friends, because you're not gonna have fun doing it anyway. So, not really. And for Spirit Quest, luckily, everybody was pretty down to just trust my bizarre ideas. And like Taylor mentioned in your interview with him, like a lot of times the skaters would just be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but okay. And then so when they saw the finished product, they'd be like, oh, okay. And the one with the wig, that was so that was in the intro of this chameleon section, and where Matt Town kickflips over himself. And I mean, it's fairly obvious who it is, but it's Jimmy Lannon wearing the wig. It was really funny. We got like identical outfits, identical shoes, identical hat and wig, and a fake beard for him. And Jimmy has a really different style than Matt, but he was trying to do the flat ground nollie flip like Matt with like the cross arm style, which was super foreign to Jimmy. He doesn't skate like that. He's that's not how he skates at all. So it was really hard for him to make himself do that. And sometimes he'd forget and he'd land and then go and cross his arms after the fact. So it was a really, really funny process. Thanks for taking the time in your work. Thank you, Dan Cortese from MTV Sports. Next from Adam Abbas. Hey, Colin, thanks for doing this. Did you receive any response from Alex Klein after a refreshingly honest Jenkum interview about the 1 in a million debacle? No, I've never heard anything from Alex Klein. I saw him on a train once. Yeah, in passing. That's it. Never saw him, never heard from him again in skating either. I don't think anybody's, I have no idea what he's doing. Do you know what he's up to these days? No. Are you still an adjunct professor? And if so, has the harsh upward slope of working in post-secondary education become easier for you? Nope, I do not. So no. And related to that, do you still get weird students or students that are fans of yours? No, that never happened. You're a shove-it flip enthusiast like myself. Do you think it's an ugly trick? I think any trick can be an ugly trick done by the wrong person, and any trick can be a beautiful trick done by the right person. Unfortunately, I am not the right person, so pretty much all my tricks look pretty ugly. But I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the shove-it flip, the varial flip, or dog flip. Just by the way, the camera's shaking because there's a cat. Okay. Yeah. Go away, kitty. Anyway, I think the thing is maybe they just have varial flips. They're like one of the first flip tricks you learn because you learn like when you're in middle school. So maybe that's why they usually look bad, because they're done by middle schoolers. Oh, the varial flip I did over the street gap? I mean, I didn't do a varial flip over the street gap. I mean, I've done a varial flip over a street gap before. It was in Tangu, but over the one I tried in SF, I landed with wheel bite and just flew, and it was just a horribly brutal slam. And it's like a really small street gap, so it was just humiliating for sure. Was there anyone at NYC base who you wanted to film with for your amazing videos, but they weren't down? Like Gons, for example. I would have loved to film with Gons, but I don't really know him that well. I've only met him a couple times. And I feel weird about just like hitting people I don't really know very well. Like, hey, let's go film. So yeah, I mean, I grew up with him being my favorite skater. But as far as people who are like approached to film but weren't down, I can't really think of any examples of that. Yeah, just film with my friends. So that's it. It eliminates the problem. What's the worst living situation you endured in the city? When I first moved to New York, I was sleeping on my friend Jake's couch, who was sharing this horrible bedside railroad apartment with these two art hippies, and their place was infested with flies. It was insane. Like you'd and you couldn't get rid of them. And any time that you'd like walk from the bathroom out to the regular room, you'd have to like wade through them and swat through them. Oh man, that was rough. Definitely the worst. Other people though, so I had in one of my few skate flats that I lived in throughout the years, we had this one place on in Bushwick, and there was just a closet that a few people lived in throughout the years. Ben Kilpatrick lived there, Matt Town lived there, Al Davis lived in there, Kevrick Evans lived in there, just a bunch of friends, and it was just a closet basically that had just enough room to put an air mattress down. And so it went to get in or out of the room, you'd like to pick up the mattress basically. But so that was in my house, and I was always amazed that people would actually, put some time in there. I think it was because it was generally free. Are all the filmers in New York cool with each other? I mean, I'm definitely not going to say all, because I don't know, just because the law of averages, like some people fucking suck. But you mentioned Strobeck, and I think Strobeck's kind of fucking awesome, honestly, just because, yeah, he changed skate media. He changed how skate videos are seen and what they are. Like, and I think that's insane. It's not how I filmed, and it's not how, I ever strove to make skating look, but he's obviously onto something, and it's not unique anymore because everybody apes him now, but his shit was a unique vision on skate videos. And he made some awesome stuff with amazing people. So I think it's super cool. Are you sitting on any unused footage of Quim, Toosery, etc.? I think I used all of the unused stuff in the bonus for Spirit Quest. So I don't think there's any. Actually, that's not true. There is unused footage of Vincent that I don't think even got used in there. It just fell through the cracks because he ended up switching sponsors and not being a venue for it, so it's probably sitting on a hard drive somewhere. I've got a lot in the vaults. If I ever find the time. Vincent, he's a magical skater, and he's a magical skater, and there's a ton of footage of him that'll never come out. Like, when he was getting boards for Firebro before he was on 917, he filmed like a full part with Tombo to be in the Firebro video. And then at the end he's like, I'm not really into this footage, just don't use it. And so Tombo's the man. Tombo's super sick. And so it's like, yeah, no problem. So most of it didn't get used. So there is a lot of Vincent footage floating around out there, just not necessarily for me.
Not even just for you.
Yeah. Hey Colin, thanks for all you don't for skate cinema. You're not welcome. This is by Point and Click. How was the Manowar shoot pitched to Radiohead? It was pitched pretty much exactly how you saw it, really line by line, like beat by beat, with time markers for everything. So the edit was on paper, so kind of only one way it could work. Do you have any personal favorite part of any of your videos, or is it too hard to pick a portion of a whole project? Yeah, that is really, really, really hard. A single favorite part out of any of my videos that's going to be really, really hard. That's also super hard, man. I mean, everything, like I said, they're all my friends, and I have so many memories wrapped up in each of them. It's hard to separate like the nostalgia of them from their actual value. They're all special. Can I share the SpiritQuest.iso and the download all the vids thread? I mean, it's been out for 3 years now, so I mean, I know shit's floating around out there, but I'm glad it hasn't been made too easily accessed by now. Plus, I mean, I have it for digital download on my site, and it's pretty cheap and you get a ton of stuff. You also get the theatrical version of the video, which isn't on the DVD. That's the one with the built-in intermission, the way the video is supposed to be watched in 2 parts. So no. This is by Stanley Spadowski. Why does everyone think you're such a flake? I actually don't know, because I'm extremely punctual. Yeah. What would be your perfect pizza? Topping, crust type, etc. A standard crust, just standard New York style crust, slightly crispy, and pepperoni and mushroom. That's it. Fairly well done. I think that's probably my perfect pizza. Although I will say a pizza that my wife and I have gotten really into making the past year is no sauce. So you roll out the dough, and then you put down pomegranate seeds, goat cheese, scallions, and then you put the just pomegranate juice over it. And that is really amazing. So, Yapple Dapple says, "Hello there, Colin." Hi, Yapple Dapple. How was it like working on that Radiohead music video, and how much creative input did you have on it? Had total creative input. I brought in my good friend Connor Cameron to help me make it, so that was super fun. Was Tom York cool to work with, or a prima donna rock star? I only ever talked to the band members over like email, but they all seemed really cool. It was terrifying though that I had to tell Tom York no to like an editing like request because they asked if I could edit something like the end part a different way, and I said no, can't. We just didn't shoot it that way; it wouldn't work. Yeah. So that was awesome. Working on Tangu, God of Mischief, did you ever worry about boards shooting on the street below and taking out a bystander? Yes, for sure. And that's why we always had spotters every time someone was skating near the roof. Because, I mean, obviously there were huge risks involved with all this shit, but we did our best to mitigate them in every way because, there's no reason to hurt. I mean, boards shot off roofs, but they didn't almost hit people. Though the board did fall off a roof once, and then we looked down and saw a kid run out and start skating away down the street on it and trying to escape with it. So we went down and chased after him for a block, and he was far away, but he didn't really know how to skate, so he hit a crack and fell off and just kept running away. So we got the board back. Last one, please tell us a Forrest Edwards story. I heard he likes fruit. Okay, this question is by Danny D. How sketched out were you and about Koki Loiza falling towards the third rail and Tangu God of Mischief? It makes a crazy trick all the more sketchier. Which of the two angles did you shoot? Mainly, were you the one on the tracks? Yes, I was the one on the tracks. And there was different angles because he landed it multiple times. I filmed the second and third angles because I think those were cut from two different times he landed, I believe. And I think the one shot from above through the rails was shot by Connor with another one of my cameras. But yeah, he landed it first try and then wasn't happy with how he landed because he kind of slid out at the end. And then he tried a couple more times and he almost got really hurt once and then he landed it. Every time he tried it, he stuck it. Yeah, he went over it and stuck it. Finally, who found the spot and came up with the idea, since there was so few train stations with the layout to even make this attempt possible? If I remember right, the person who thought this would be the best station to do it was Cooper Winterson, I think. This is up there with a few tricks and actually sketch the hell out of me and make me stoked at the same time, like the water tower ollie. Yeah, I think it's a pretty analogous thing for sure. Do you have to give a shout out to Mike from the Bronx, who our ollie was in 2012, and I think his was earlier in the same year that he ollied a train gap too in his cell phone video or whatever, as shown by Quarter Snacks, and it wasn't the same one, and it was like a shuttle train or something, and I don't think it was quite the same. But he fucking jumped the fucking train gap too, so that's awesome. Mike from the Bronx. I can't say his full name. I'm not allowed to. Thanks, Sandy D. Now on to Crappy Chan. Do you think it was unfair that you won that girl competition with a video sponsored by Converse? Yeah, kind of. So I made the video for the Connect the Dots video contest, and I'd already won it with that. And it was the reverse skating concept. And once the girl films thing came out, I wasn't even going to submit, but Bill Pierce, a good friend of ours, he forced me to submit it. And I was really hyped too, because the whole thing, it was a Spike Jonze judge contest, and that video, the whole concept was directly pulling from his Far Side drop video. So I was psyched for him to see it, and then I was really surprised that I won. I assumed I'd be disqualified. I just would be hyped for Spike, would have seen the video. And then when they hit me up and, told me, I was like, hey, I don't think I should win this contest. I'm not really I'm not like a young kid, and I didn't make it specifically for this contest. And I would really be super down to just take a runner-up prize and give it to somebody else. But they kind of insisted. I think it was a ploy to get me to come out and film skits for the girl doll video. That's what I think. But I had a lot of fun doing that too. Do you have any directorial aspirations for the future? I could see you giving a great Oscar acceptance speech. Not. Okay, well, thanks for that. I definitely would not give a good speech because I'm not very eloquent usually. But yeah, I mean, for sure. I'm actually in pre-production for my first feature film. And I'm working now as a commercial director, so I guess yes. Anyways, you're sick. Hope you feel better soon. Your slap pen pal, Crappy Chan. Thanks, Crappy. This is by Soda Jerk. Hi, Colin. Colin Kennedy said that being a Colin is working for him, but he's also a Kennedy, so he has that advantage. What's it like being a regular, everyday Colin? That's a great question. I thank my lucky stars that I'm a Colin with one L, because Colin with two L's just fucking gross. What's it like being a Colin? I don't know, probably about the same as being, I'd say like a Jeff or something. I'd put on that sort of level, But I'm a secret William, though. It's my actual first name. Colin's my middle name. So I have the William thing going for me. Aristocracy. You have a pitch to deliver. What do you eat beforehand? Do you caffeinate? What happens right before you pitch? Any nerves or rituals? No, but I have a bad habit of drinking iced coffee and then having myself shit immediately and then like almost missing meetings like every time. Favorite corn-based dish? Just corn tortillas, I'd have to say. I heard you think London is the best city in the world. What's your favorite thing about London? Is it the weather? Yeah, I've never been a big fan. It just rains all the time and it's just a bummer. But the last time I was there, I had a really great time. Worked with a lot of great people, so it's rising in my esteem. Hopefully next time it'll be even better. Do you own any hard copies of Serg-produced films? There actually aren't any hard copies of Serg-produced films. He only ever showed them live at events, and if you missed it, you'd never have the chance to see the video. So I feel bad for everybody that's never had a chance to see a Serg skate video, but if you're not there in person, I'm sorry for you. What's the video project you're most proud of? Probably just Spirit Quest. Yeah, right there. Monkey wrangled the copy on eBay recently.
Yes.
Just because I watched parts of it recently when doing another interview with Hiroki, and I couldn't just believe I made it. I was shocked that I had somehow made this video because I don't know how I had the patience or like strength to do it because I'm just super lazy. And I said this for my wife. She's like, well, yeah, it's because you were up until 4 a.m. every day editing. I'm like, well, I guess that's how. But like, I can't imagine me now making that video. There's no fucking way I can do it. I'm too washed up and out of energy and all my inspiration's gone. I think I used it all up in that video. Yeah, I used it all. I used everything I had, for better or worse. So there's nothing left, and that's why I retired. Do you think the VX1K is the best camera to document skating? No, I don't think necessarily. But I think for my generation, it's just what skating looks and feels like, because that's what we grew up. So many of the pivotal videos were filmed on VX, and certainly they were all filmed in SD, so they weren't widescreen, and just the depth blends and the colors and the sounds, I think it's so deeply ingrained in skaters of my generation that it just feels and looks right, and that's still, it's hard to match just in that raw feeling that it brings you back to. So I think that's why it feels right. And that's why it's kind of funny for me that there's so many younger filmers now that are using it, because it's like a nostalgia for something they weren't really there for. So maybe it's more of a trend. I mean, I still think it looks amazing. Same reason why there's like a lot of like 90s skater cosplay right now. People dressing dressing in giant DCs and jumpsuits that were never actually cool. But a lot of these people, they weren't actually skating or even alive at that point, so they didn't really have the point of reference, but it connects with them somehow, and a connection to a time of skating they wish they were in. And maybe that's what the VX thing still is. Who's your personal favorite filmers? I mean, all time? French Fred, for sure. Dan Wolf, Josh. It's hard to argue with those guys. And now, Jacob Harris, making some really awesome, cool stuff, doing things in a new way. I gotta put Dan McGee on that first list too. And he just put out a new video now too, so still Dan McGee, fuck it. And sorry McGee if it's McGee and I'm saying it wrong. Hey, what is your favorite graphic? By Ciota. My favorite graphic of all time? It's a really, really hard question. I mean, there's like the super classics. I don't know, I never really honestly skated that many Habitat or workshop boards back in the day, because I was usually skating more deluxe stuff at that point, just because I liked the way the boards were, because the Alien boards were usually like super concave, and I didn't really like that. But I mean, yeah, in the heyday, like the Alien and Habitat graphics were just like, I don't know, so iconic and awesome. Right. Yeah, Pendleton type stuff and just super amazing. I mean, also, I mean, just all the, like, you know, early Gon's art and stuff was so sick. So, Gon surrounded by the flowers and in the jumpsuit, it's a pretty fucking good one. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Yeah, sure, I get down with it. Where's your favorite place to film? This is New York, because it's home, you know, and just lurk around with a bunch of friends. And you always know the places you can fall back to just to like hang out and have fun. But then there's still enough stuff you can try to get good shit kind of wherever you are in the city. Get well soon, and hopefully we see another video from you. Shalom. Why does everybody keep saying get well soon? It's kind of like, kind of demeaning. Yo, Colin, how many VX1K have you owned thus far? I think maybe like 15 over always or something like that in that number. That's nothing compared to a lot of filmers, though. That's nothing compared to a ton of filmers. How do you capture/export the footage? Those are two very different questions. Capture, I mean, I just had like a handy cam and just plugged directly into a computer, and that computer would change over the years. And then by the end, the last like 2 videos, I had one computer, like an old MacBook, that I just kept exclusively for capturing stuff because they don't have FireWire ports on any of the new computers. What capture cam? Which computer hardware/software? Come on. It was a Canon HV20, which was my most recent handy cam, which was actually an HDV camera that was a pretty nice little camera. And which computer hardware/software? During mini DV days, I would use Final Cut. Thanks, love your work. Thank you, Something Must Break Now. This is by Clammy. What's your spot for pizza in NYC? Probably Joe's. What's good about Florida? The winter is really good there. The water, the nature is really wonderful. Skating's hard there because it's really, really hot. But the winter is honestly kind of amazing. A lot of really, really amazing skaters come from Florida. I was saying earlier with my friend Darnell over there that I think Jersey and Florida have the best skaters. Best and worst travel experience. Best, probably the first time I took a Japan trip to skate with friends for Tangu. I think that was just such an incredible trip. And then the Spirit Quest just premiere tour as well. It's just unbeatable. Worst travel experience? Oh, I don't know. Sometime I went to London. Favorite travel destinations? Japan, maybe. I don't know. Japan's really amazing. One place that I've never seen anybody else skate is Vigo, Spain. And I went there on an Adidas trip once, and it was incredible. It was like SF-size hills that were literally paved with marble. It's right by Portugal in northwestern Spain. Oh, shit. It's really mossy and wet because it's really misty all the time, kind of like the Pacific Northwest. But, I mean, it was the most insane skating, and nobody had skated so many of these spots. That place was amazing. So if anybody's looking for Lesser travel to skate destination, check out Vigo, Spain. If you were given a sizable budget to make a skate video, would that change your approach at all? Would it allow you to pursue an idea you never had budget for? Yeah, for sure. Actually, I mean, I love big budgets. I've made small budget things because I don't have any money. But I'm in LA right now, and I just came off shooting like a commercial project that had a really big budget, and it was really fun. So I would love some opportunities like that within skating. So brands, you know where I'm at. P.S. I took my wife to the Spear Quest premiere in NYC, which was her first skate video. Needless to say, she's been let down by pretty much every skate video I've showed her since. Haha. I've heard that Tangu and Spear Quest are great skate videos to watch with a girlfriend. So yeah, that's good. Reaching out to a new demographic. Hopefully got you laid. By Tuna, any stretches or exercises that you'd recommend to benefit back health? Just general yoga. Anything that strengthens your core, for sure. And then just simple daily things like child's pose and cat-cow are just the best warm-ups, I think. So I think if you just do child's pose, cat-cow, and then just like planks, the first two to kind of like limber you up, and then the last one to help strengthen your core. If those are the only things you could choose just for your back for skating, I'd suggest those. What was the back issue that you dealt with? How do you plan to fix it? I have several herniated discs in my back, and I've done a lot of stuff with it. Epidural injections and intradiscal PRP treatment, and then, massage therapy, years of physical therapy, acupuncture, acupressure. I tried like Reiki healing. And I mean, I'm still in constant pain all the time. I think the stretching, exercising that I do pretty much every day helps keep me fit enough to like not have my back go into spasms. Sometimes it still does. And there's some stuff I still can't do. I can't lift shit. And I can't bend over and do the filming thing anymore because it just kills me after more than a few minutes. So, I mean, I have not dealt with it. I've been dealing with it, but it's not fixed. Hopefully I can. I've done everything short of surgery because they say, you're in your 30s. The surgery, there's no going back from it, and you should just see how long you can deal with it, and that's what I'm doing. But it drives me out of my mind a lot of the time. I can't sit ever, basically. Most of my life is centered around trying not to sit, and I bring around inflatable lumbar pillows everywhere I go, and also inflatable like butt pillow to sit on because I get sciatic pain in my ass. So those are things I deal with it, but it's just managing it. I still have constant pain every second of every day, but I've just kind of learned to deal with it and try to live. It's really frustrating, but some people can't walk, so I'm really grateful to be able to walk and skate sometimes and stuff like that.
You climb with the bad problems. That's insane.
Well, so
That's insane.
Well, no, I think actually, I started rock climbing, and I think that's actually good for your back. Like, the thing is that still, even when you're rock climbing, I mean, you're like, the weight isn't on your, you're not standing on the ground. There's less weight that your back's supporting anyway. You're either hanging from you're hanging with your hands and using support from your legs, but it's less than standing on the ground. It's better for your back than skating is, that's for sure. And I think it's good for it because it like promotes general core strength. So I think it's a good activity for people with back problems. Or at least it has been for me, I think. Are there any skaters not featured in Spear Quest that you would easily attribute an animal to off the top of your head? Well, people not in Spear Quest? That's a good question. Because it's an intimate thing, so it's hard to think off the top of my head. But off the top of my head, I mean, Tony Hawk. He's like some sort of long-limbed bird or something like that. His name's Tony Hawk, That makes sense. Are there any current skate filmers who inspire you? Yeah, Jake Harris, I think so. What is a recent skate video that released that you loved? Last one that you hated? Last one I loved, the chronology of skate videos is really hard for me. And I miss a lot of stuff that comes out because I mostly just watch things that my friends are in, but luckily I have a ton of friends in skating, so I see most of the stuff anyway. But the last weekend edit was awesome. Oh, you can throw that onto the last one too. I think Grant's videos are so sick. They're made with like love and care, and they feel handmade, and they feel cohesive, and they have a vision. Also, I think Weekend is one of the best brands out because it feels like a real team and the real friends who are actually friends and actually skate with each other all the time. So that's the future of skating, I think. just actual crews, actual teams like they used to be. When filming Mike Moe for that skit and doll, how many times did he use the weird Chuck the Sailor voice? Just all the time, actually. Like half the time. He used that like weird voice. This is by Skate Farm. Hi, Colin. First of all, thank you for answering our questions. Here I go. Whose decision was it to use a Hugh Masekela song in Spirit Quest? It was my decision. Hugh Masekela is amazing. Did you know his son was the ESPN commentator, Sal Masekela? Crazy, huh? I did know that fact, and I break that fact out all the time and blow people's minds. In fact, I just told that to Zach Lyons the other day and blew his mind. Are you still working on projects with Lucas Federling? How did you two meet? Lucas rules. I met Lucas through Marty Morawski. Marty was staying with me one time, and he said his German friend was coming into town and asked if he could crash too, and I said sure. And Lucas is a really cool dude. He filmed like really gnarly shit. He made an independent video that was just the opposite of Spirit Quest. It was just like the most insane hammers, like Chris Fanner and Enis Favilov and those type of guys. But yeah, Lucas is the man. I worked with him on a couple projects that I've directed and he's DP'd, and I'd love to do more in the future. We're planning on some now, actually. He's a really cool guy and a talented cinematographer. Whose idea was it to make a song out of the skate sounds for Quim and Connor's part in Spirit Quest? I bought that single and I love it. That was Connor's idea, and I'm sure Connor is grateful for you for buying the single. Keep supporting Connor Cameras so you can make more cool music. Do you have any cats of your own? No, I don't have cats, but I'm staying at my friend's house right now, whose cat you saw earlier. It's crawling everywhere. Thanks again for answering our questions. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Skate Farm. I'm glad you didn't say get well soon. This is by the Canadian Suit. Whose animal was the easiest to pick, aside from Jimmy, since supposedly he was the first? And on the other side, whose was the hardest to pick? The easiest to pick, I mean, a lot of them were super. Zach's lines was really easy because he's just a frog, and he looks and skates like one. The hardest was probably Hiroki Muraoka, and I ended up just giving up and making him Evolution in general. Did the industry give any sort of recognition for making arguably the best skate video of the last 10, 20 years? I'd argue with that statement for sure. But did we get recognition? I don't know. A lot of people liked the video and have told me they loved it. So yeah, they recognize it. I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. Got any more $7 claw t-shirts? No, but I've got 1 million free claw t-shirts. I have about probably 40 of them just in my storage unit. It just got to be too annoying to mail them out. So if anybody wants one, just I don't know, just meet up with me or something, and I'll give you a shirt in New York. Follow me to my storage unit. Next, by Cosmic Gypsies. Okay, with the VX and I guess tape footage in general being a very temperamental medium in terms of glitching/corrupting footage, heads becoming dirty, etc., are there any tricks you filmed over the years that got lost to camera tape issues? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's tricks that have gotten lost. There was a really sick line of Connor Cameron. I know they got lost due to glitching, and we went back to try to get it again, and then he got up there and was like, how the fuck did I do this the first time? He went over this wall into a skinny and then bombed the hill and then ollied this gap out to the street. And looking at the gap, it just seemed unimaginable. But he'd done it the first time at night. And maybe when we went there during the day, it just looked too terrifying. Yeah, I remember there was one clip of Tobin doing this backsmith in New York that got glitched over. He did it again, but I think the first one he did was just I don't think he got back to where the first one was, because the first one, it was so dipped, it was seriously almost vertical. The one in the video is also, it's in Spirit Quest. It's this big metal box about this high. There's a backsmith on it, and it's really dipped. But the first one that got glitched over, it was seriously an almost vertical clip of a backsmith. It was insane. By Slappies, what's the weirdest account you've seen sharing a sequence from Spirit Quest? Hood clips, and that was dope. Psyched on that one. What former poster would you bring back from the slap grave? Inbred Jed. Is Viceland pretty hands-off, or do they just let you make what you want to make? They gave me a lot of freedom to make some stuff, but, we still had to run things through the chain. Lastly, I stuck the SQ sticker I got with the DVD on a shitty old bookshelf I had, and the bookshelf later fell apart. My girlfriend made me throw it out because she wouldn't allow me to keep scrap wood in our apartment, even though the cool stickers were on it. Damn. Where can I get a replacement Spirit Quest sticker to put on a more sturdy piece of homeware? I mean, I think you should get a new girlfriend, maybe. No, whoever this is, just like hit me up, DM me or something, and when I'm finally back home, I'll just mail you one. By Cuban Links, the purple tape avatar. How were you able to film the VX underwater? We duct taped it into Ziploc bags. For real, we cut a circle hole in the bag and then duct taped that straight to the lens, so there's nothing in front of the lens, and the rest was just into the Ziploc bag. Have you been to any good Chicago pizza spots? I recommend Pequod's. I went to Lou's. I wasn't into it. Was not in Chicago pizza. I mean, I think I was just expecting pizza, and it's like lasagna, so I wasn't hyped. Plus, you can't just go and get a slice. It's like, oh, I'd like one slice. Like, well, okay, that'll be 40 minutes. You have to sit and wait and get like a whole pie. Dude, this is not what, like, you know, it's a different thing. You know, I'm sure it's good in its own right, but it's not pizza. Okay, concerned parent. What's the best advice you can give to make your VX footage as crispy as possible? Crispy, in the custom presets, set your sharpness, fuck man, I'm like forgetting this shit. Set your sharpness all the way up, your white balance 1 or 2 clicks to the right depending on the day, and then your color saturation, maybe 1 less click from the right, and then just figure out, like, you know, shutter speed and aperture right. Just figure them out for what situation you're in. There's always a best case scenario. And at night, just use really bright lights and a lot of lights so you can stop it down. That's my best advice. How did you find all the animals in the playgrounds? Are you more of a Google Earth looking for skate spots or lurking around the city with your eyes peeled? Definitely not Google Earth. We just, whenever we'd be in a session, we'd have that on our mind and look around, generally. We also Googled, like, for animals, like famous animal sculptures in the city or anything, and I think we found a couple that way. We found a boar sculpture that way. Hardest shot to get while filming Spirit Quests, I think the one in Connor's part where the camera falls down the building and then he does a kickflip over a cellar door. One of the people who helped me make that is in the room right now, Darnell Scott. So we did that with we did that with the camera on a kite string, and we lowered it from a 6-story window in Soho. And the way we did it is that Darnell was leaning out of the window holding gardening gloves and using like his hands as a pulley that the kite string would run through. And then Taylor Naraki was holding the other end of the string, and when we'd say go, he would basically sprint at the window, letting out the line, and Darnell would be letting it run through his hands, and then he'd slow down toward the window, and Darnell would slow it with the friction of his grip, and then I'd grab the camera and move forward and get the kickflips. That was hard. It was super windy, and the camera would be blowing around on the string, and sometimes it would start spinning so fast, it'd be like vomit-inducing. And then sometimes it'd be perfect and Connor would just fall on a kickflip. And he did a couple where he just did like the worst possible kickflips. He's an amazing kickflipper, but it's just one of those things.
I also love how you guys did the test run for it the night before, doing it with a water bottle.
Oh yeah. We tested it with water. We didn't want to break the camera if we didn't have to. Utopos, how do you feel about HD footage shot in 4:3? I think it was really cool. There's a couple of people. It kind of captures the VX speed of things. I think it's tight. What takes longer for your videos? Filming the skaters or the editing and the visual additions? Both take fucking ages, honestly. Probably editing. But I don't know, filming took 3 years, so who knows. Easiest skater to film? Probably either Bobby Worst or Vincent Alvarez. Those dudes just kind of follow around, and they're both really magical skaters, and they just do tricks. You know, it's really easy to film those guys. And did Taylor Naraki ever make you wait to film so we could get a mani-pedi? No, he did not. Though he did, I did shoot a Viceland commercial with him getting a pedicure, though, with a skateboard. So kind of brought that back a little bit. By Ed Sex Toy. VX for Lifer? Nope. I actually still have one working VX still just in my storage unit, but the last one I sold to a friend of mine, and she's using it to film like a little documentary about like 4-wheelers and mud pits or something. So I'll hope to see that footage eventually. The crazy antics from Spirit Quest, the VX flips, the crazy shit to me. Something had to inspire that, right? How'd that one come to be? I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty easy to figure out, like, damn, it'd be sick if you could kick with the camera with the board. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely not the only person to think that. I did it a long time ago, too, and to varying degrees, success, and then, I don't know, trying to find the right place for it to do it in a cool way. And then for Spirit Quest, I don't know. Obviously, worked in with the spinner dolphins. And a lot of it was just waiting until I could find the person who had the best kickflips and would not fall ever. Because I was falling really close, on the one in the video. And that was James Sayers. And he's just like he's just a god at skating in general, but he just doesn't fall on kickflips. And so he could even do it with the kickflip nose manual, which is what we did. So Dave Fuck says, hey, what's up, man? What's up? Best story from Spirit Quest filming? Single best story from filming is maybe when Chris Jones was in New York for a while, and we were supposed to go to Philly with Quim the next morning. And Chris was so hyped. He'd never skated with Quim before. He's a huge fan, and he was dying to skate Philly too. And then so we had to get up early in the morning. So the day before we were filming, he ended up filming what ended up being his ender in Spirit Quest. And then he met this girl in the process. And then later that night, he went to meet up with her. And, went off with like, okay, well, we're leaving at like 7:30 or 7 in the morning, so just be back with us. And then he never showed up. And then in the morning, he just wasn't there. Like, all right, we got to leave. And like hit him up. And then he said something like, he was like, hey man, I'm really sorry, but I can't make it out to skate with Philly with Quim. I wouldn't do this unless it was something really important. But long story short, I'm in love. And he texted me like 4 in the morning I think. Like, all right, so we went and we're like on the way to Philly. And he texted me later while we're in the car, he's like, hey guys, so what's up? Like, where you guys at? You still in the city? And we're like, nah dude, we're almost there. And he's like, fuck. Like, so are you still in love? He goes, well, like she's cool. You don't fall in love at 4 in the morning. Best Taylor and Rocky story. That very same trip, he was trying to race out the door to make it, like I said, really early to meet up with us before we left the city. And his roommate was like taking a long shower or something, and he had to take a bad shit before he left the house, so he had to end up shitting in a flower pot.
Oh, he says that in the...
Yeah, he had to shit in a flower pot so he could make it on time. So Taylor's the fucking best. I could go on with Taylor all day, but he had his whole other interview, and it's full of his good stories. Define retire by the user Straight. That I can't make skate videos anymore. Like, I can't do the same thing. I can't film VX. My back's fucked. Just my brain. I can't sit at the bottom of a stair set for 3 hours anymore. I still love skating, and in the past couple years, I've made a couple things with skating, and I hope to continue to do so, but I just can't make full skate videos anymore right now. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of skateboarding? Okay, I'm not going to take it so serious. So to me, I think maybe the 4 most important people to me in my skate filming and skate world, maybe Joe Perrin. People don't ever really credit that much in skate videos, but I think he had a super influential style of making skate videos and presenting skating, and made some amazing videos. I think French Fred, 2. Josh Stewart for, shaping independent skateboarding, underground skating in the U.S. And Stacy Peralta, he invented this shit, right? Sorry for twisting your question, but I had to narrow it down for myself a little bit. How many times does one change their mind before they can be considered a flake? In a different realm, I've read that as a director, you can change your mind twice about something before people think you don't know what you're doing. So, what's one thing you wish you could change about contemporary skateboarding? I wish Instagram would die. That's what. If you go back to any time period, to when would you go? Probably my early 20s before I had back problems, and then quit skating before they started. How many days a week do you dedicate to skating, be it filming industry stuff or the actual act itself? Filming the industry stuff is 0. The actual act itself, I can usually skate about once a week, with my back allowing it. And sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. Generally about once a week. I can, hopefully 2 or 3 days, but usually about once a week. And I can get away with it. Okay. We're jamming through them now. We're speeding up a little bit now because there's a lot of questions here. And we don't have enough beer. By Shifty Flip. First, I'd like to thank you for bestowing the gift of Spirit Quest upon humanity. Thank you very much. That I'm really blown away by that so many people still enjoy and love the video this many years later. So thank you, everybody. Any upcoming projects you'd like to talk about or announce right now? My comeback. No. Any projects in skating? There's a couple of things I'm trying to get off the ground. I have a bunch of skate video ideas that I still want to make, more conceptual based things, not just like ways to edit a skate video. And I've pitched them to a couple companies, but I haven't really had anybody bite yet because most of them are more on the shorter side and they wouldn't really make enough sense for me just to do as an independent project because they're like an in-between space in terms of length, and I just feel weird about them floating around like that. But they're kind of perfect to be for somebody, but I don't know. Nobody wants to pay me. So, other projects, I have a couple of things, but I don't like talking about things before I make them because I feel like I jinx myself, so I won't do that. But hopefully I'll have some things coming out pretty soon, just more on the personal side as well. What's the real story of the origin of your handle? Mandible Claw. It's the wrestling move by Mankind. When I was in high school, my friends and I, when it was raining and we couldn't skate, we would play games against each other. And for some reason, my friend Alex Fote and I were Team Mandible Claw, and the other team was Team Kill Mandible Claw. I don't really know. And then I started a blog at some point after that and called it Mandible Claw, and then it just stuck, unfortunately. Is there a question you're surprised you never get asked during interviews? If so, what is the answer to said question? People never ask what my PayPal is so they can send me money. And the answer to that is wcread@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. There's a cat attacking the camera again. Obscure Purity. What's good, Colin? Like many others on here, I've always appreciated your videos and how much work you put into each aspect of the concepting, filming, and editing process. As a filmer and editor myself, I can't imagine the amount of hours you had to have dedicated to any of your videos. Like I said earlier, neither can I, currently. Truly inspirational. Thank you very much. How many reiterations of Spirit Quest did you go through before you were fully happy with the entire edit? Countless. It was a rolling process over 3 years of filming and editing the entire time that I was filming. So, a ton. How long did the final render for Spirit Quest take? Render it out in chunks and then reassemble, so not that long, really, by the end. Work smarter, not harder, kids. Being a hunter-gatherer of lesser-known skate spots in my area, I usually find a lot of the spots I end up filming with my friends at. Do you do the same, or do the guys you film with bring most of their spot tricks ideas to you first? That's a plight of every filmer. Yo, where do we skate today? So it's always the filmer who has the shit they want to bring people to, and they end up, coming up with the ideas. But that being said, a lot of people had really strong ideas for their video parts in Spirit Quest. So will we ever see Colin read full part? I've had several of them. Search them out by my Insta. If you had a part in Spirit Quest, what animal would you have used for yourself? I did, so watch the video. I think it should have been this chicken, the Kellogg's cornflake. Damn, that's a really deep cut of a joke right there. Combining multiple things, so kudos. Just kidding, love you. Can't wait to watch this episode. What's good with the chicken piece? I had Roscoe's last night. Stay false. You said one time in an interview after Spirit Quest that you had many other Nope. If you have many other interesting concepts or skate videos in your head, care to share some of them? No, because then I won't have any reason to do them. I think if you talk about something before you do it, or, fully explain the thing, and, being able to explain the thing is good, but if you give away all your secrets, then you have no reason to make them, So hold your cards close and then just blow people's minds when you come out. Old Death. Hi, Colin. I think you're very handsome. Thank you. Would you like to come and hang out with me next summer? Well, he lives in Sweden, so yes, I'd love to. We can skate and go to the gym if you like. We could do both those things. We could also drink beer and eat corn over the cob. That sounds great, Ola. Let me know, okay. Hugs your friend. Ola, I will take that up, and I will be in Sweden next summer. By Johns. What do you order at McDonald's? I don't eat McDonald's, but whenever I find myself in a situation, I'll get usually the little vanilla cone. Il Murray, what did Serg whisper in your ear at Vladimir? Serg told me the secret to making skate videos, but much like Antoine with Rodney Mullen, I can't repeat it. Gay says, has it ever offended you when drag queens say they're going to read each other for filth? Because it sounds like they're trashing your family name. I never thought of it that way, but I think now I will. Thanks, man. Gnarly Town merch bundle says, I saw you at Stoner last week with your body double. At least that's what I was told. So are the threats real? Is he with you now? He's just off camera and the threats are real, and it involves Serg. That's all I can say. Pale Light says, first things, thank you so much for Spirit Quest. You're welcome. Thank you for watching it. It seems like you have the monopoly on filming Matt Town. Is that dude as reclusive as he's made out to be? I think yes. He is that reclusive. He's an incredible skater. He lives in LA and he's an artist. He's a very serious artist and he focuses a lot on that. But he still skates just as hard. Skated with him the other day. And I think he just, much like me, just likes skating with his really good friends. And if he's not filming, it's because he's not really good friends with any well-known filmer. I think that's probably the only reason why. And he also is very selective about what he makes. He likes making, concept-driven parts and getting really good shit. And so if he's not going to be doing that, he'd rather just skate for fun, I think, than put that out. Seriously underrated. More Matt Town footage would be a welcome thing, and I agree. Matt, I hope you film a new part soon. Steven's Lawyer. You're a boss, Mandible Claw. Tangu is one of my favorite videos of all time. Speaking about Tangu, any good as yet untold stories or encounters you had in filming the subway and rooftop segments? I have to imagine that put you in some strange, dramatic situations. I don't know if I've talked about this in an interview, but when we were all put in handcuffs one time, sitting on the subway steps, waiting for more cops to show up. Again, I'm happy to mention Bill Pierce. He had his hands cuffed behind him, and a giant rat ran down the subway steps and leapt through the air and landed in his cuffed hands. And it freaked everybody out so much that the cops just took the cuffs off, and we had to go into court for it, but we got to leave that night. I love Spirit Quest, but many of my amigos were not hyped due to the length. Josh Stewart went ahead and essentially made 2 separate videos for Static 4 and 5 when he was in somewhat of a similar situation. Would you ever consider doing a distilled or re-edited version of Spirit Quest with the 5 or 6 really prime parts? 20-30 minutes of only the best shit would really pack a punch. No, I'd never consider that. That is the director's cut. But funny enough, Josh really recommended that I do the exact same thing. He recommended that I also split up in 2 videos. But I just couldn't do it. It's one project to me. But the video on the DVD is in 2 videos. It is in 2 parts. There's part 1 and part 2. They're clearly demarcated. And even on the DVD, it says, you have an option to stop it now after part 1, after Vincent's part, or continue on and watch the whole thing. Or you can choose to only watch part 2. It's made to be watched in parts, in the first part, the second part, or the whole thing all the way through. And all the premieres had a theatrical version that had a built-in 15-minute intermission with its own sort of audiovisual thing going on. And if you buy it online, you can download the theatrical version, which comes with that. So that's how kind of it's meant to be watched. When can we expect the VX tray flip? I think I'm just looking insane because you lose track of the skater. By Tanho. The most watched skate video growing up? Throughout my whole, growing up with skating, Habitat Mosaic, Reel to Reel. I'm trying to think of the single most watched one ever in my life. Maybe Habitat Mosaic, honestly. Maybe that's was my most watched video at a certain point.
It's a favorite part.
Danny's part, for sure. It's the best part. This has been asked multiple times, but is there any future plans of re-releasing Tangu or Spirit Quest on DVD? I've been kind of thinking about it a little bit, just because a ton of people recently have been asking me, but I did several runs of it, and by the time the last one sold out, it was kind of a trickle. And then there was more demand, but to print another one, you have to print another 1,000 DVDs, and it would just take the rest of my life to sell those. And now people are oh, I missed one, I want to buy one. But it's really though? You had a long time. Would you? And I'm sure people would buy it and it'd be hyped, but I'd have to spend a lot of money to make enough copies to get made, and I'm afraid I'd get left with a ton of DVDs on my hands. I actually talked to Josh earlier in the year about possibly doing it a double feature re-release, but I kind of dropped the ball on it. So who knows? Maybe. Any good Pyro Sierra stories? What's he up to these days? I don't think Pyro even bothers coming to New York. I think every year he came to New York less. He comes to New York less and less because it's just not hot enough for him. Like first he was there in like the summers and the falls, and then only the summers, and then only the middle of summer. So who knows how much he was there this year? Because I haven't really been in New York much this year. But yeah, he's a Florida man. Any good Pyro Sierra stories? One time, him and Kevrick Evans came over to my house super late at night, just totally smashed, wondering if you're asking if they could crash, and we're like, we're moving in the morning. We're moving to a new apartment. Like, all of our shit is in boxes. Like, yo, but let us crash. We'll help you in the morning. Like, okay, dude, you're going to help us move if you're going to crash here. And then they passed out, of course, and weren't waking up. And then tried to wake Pyro up, and he was just a corpse and wouldn't wake up. And then Kevrick had passed out in the front hallway. And then just because while we're trying to move out. And so my roommate, Jake, at the time, he just started, like, leaving all the box, like, bringing shit to where he was and then just leaving it on top of Kevrick because we could not get farther. So we ended up just stacking stuff, like, waist high. Oh, no, it wasn't Jake. It was me and Fote were stacking stuff super high on him, and he just was dead, and he wasn't waking up. And he was totally covered by all of our, shit and bags and boxes. And then Jake came home. He'd been going to rent the truck. He was super pissed all this stuff was in the hallway. So he started shoving his way through the pile, like kicking and stomping. Just kicking and stomping on Kevrick's lifeless body until he finally woke up. And then, to his credit, Kevrick ended up helping us. But Pyro, I think he just gave up, and when we tried to make him help us pack, he just walked outside and passed out again on the sidewalk. But yeah, I love both those guys so much. Back to the ball ride. How'd you do the shoot and spear course that starts? Maybe Google Earth and spin to the ground. Went over that. Oh, he was asking if I somehow could have done it with a line, and yeah, we would have had to cut the rope. Like I said, it took so long that I was just out of the question. And then we would have had to just be fucked if we ever wanted to do it again, because you'd cut it. I kick myself every day for not ordering the hard copy. Well, like he says, hey, Monkey McPott just found one on eBay, so maybe they're still out there. Keep looking around, and if they get made again, yeah, go grab it. Baron Samedi says, Colin Reed, you son of a bitch. On a scale from 1 to absolutely terrible, how awful is the current slap landscape? I mean, it's pretty... It's not what it used to be, for sure. But in some ways, it's not the worst thing, like I said. What's the most high-profile ripoff of Spirit Quest that you can recall? I don't know. Red Bull did one really immediately. And that was fine. Again, I think that was the camera kickflip, and I wasn't the first person in the world to make that up. Pork 1. Olivia Wilde, beautiful as ever, with a foot-long dick flapping around. You must give her a hand job, and it must be frog style with her legs up on your shoulders, or Fred Gall with a vagina. So this question originates with Zach Lyons, and I mean, once you put the hand job into it, I guess I'd have to say Fred. Sorry, Freddie. If you were to pick up Jesus Christ, sounds fucked up. Okay, if we were to pick up the most recent poo of yours out of the toilet and send it out to lab for testing, what would you assume to be the breakdown of complex carbohydrates to anything else? I eat mostly carbs, I think, though I've been trying to eat more proteins just to, like, live. But yeah, I eat just, like, a ton of fruit and bread sort of things. So probably mostly carbs. As the two-part of this question, what farm animal has shits most similar to yours? I wish I could say goats because theirs are so neat and tidy, but I guess probably more deer. Most importantly, what's your favorite thing about me, the Dark Lord Baron Samedi? Don't say my smile. Everyone says my smile. My least favorite thing is how often you beat me in chess, and I can never beat you. Hate says regular corn or sweet corn. I'll say regular corn. What's the best cookie and who makes it? Ooh, my wife and I make a gangster cookie. What is the latest you've ever been to a meeting because you're on the toilet? Almost yesterday. What is the amount of time you have between finishing coffee and having to shit? Why do you continue to ignore this and be late to meetings? And it is within 15 minutes, and I don't have an answer for why I continue. Who whined the most during Spirit Quest? Ooh, who whined the most? Probably me. Me for sure. Plan B in its current state or Remive? I'm honestly not sure who's on Plan B now. Who's on Plan B now? Chris Jocelyn's on Plan B? I'll say Plan B then, because Chris Jocelyn's
Isn't like
a psychopath.
on Plan B? There's a few people still on Plan
Okay.
B. Letitia Buffoni's on
Okay, then I'll say Plan B for sure, because it's an actual skateboard company still, you know?
Compared to who else?
Revive. Yeah. Fucking, dude. Felipe Gustavo and Leticia Buffoni, they're Brazilians, so, you know, I got a lot of love for Brazil. Tell me a great story about Lurka Lou from the 1 in a Million Days. All you have to know is that once the cameras were off, he was the one, like, blessing all the kids with stuff and hooking them up with weed and, you know, having a good time and chilling with them every night, all night. And he was the one when Alex Klein absconded with all the footage and dipped. Lou was the one that was the most furious and trying to like chase him down. So Lou's a great guy. You can fix your back and will never have problems again. However, the sacrifice is that 50% of your day will be spent with your hands being completely asleep. You'll also have no idea when the 50% will strike. Might be the middle of the day, might be when you're asleep, might be in several broke up portions. Do you fix your back or live with it as is? I think I'd live with it as is, because at least I'm getting by. Like, I couldn't do anything with my hands asleep. Please ask Monkey McPott to provide you with a pen and paper so you can draw him. You have 45 seconds. Okay?
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay. There he is.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Okay. That was a fun one. Okay, Max Power says, if Spirit Quest animals were vegetables, what vegetable would each skater be? Taylor and Rocky would be the eggplant. Daniel Kim would be the mushroom. Jesse Narvaez would be the cayenne pepper. Ebby Ghaffarian would be an avocado. I would be a string bean. Leo Gutman would be a dragon fruit. Okay, that's enough. Botef Dunn says, where do you draw the line in terms of using skateboarding as a vehicle for ideas? I think there is no line. I think skateboarding is only a vehicle for ideas. That's all it is. On a related note, do you think there is a readership for a blog called Steam the Stream, which paraphrases Boiled the Ocean's post while leaving out all the whimsical and literary flourishes, replacing in a sense the fatty tuna and whale blubber of the deeps with shallow dwelling river trout? Gotta say, I don't think there's readership for that. Via says, what is your first pro model for Wine Mom gonna be? Probably a Live, Laugh, Love. What is a Wine Mom spirit animal? Probably a koala. You over there says, whenever I take shrooms, I gotta throw a Spirit Quest in the TV. Every time you take shrooms? Absolutely the best filming. Even people that don't skate knows how great your filming is. But anyway, how was filming skating with Daniel Kim while he was going through that huge style metamorphosis? I feel really blessed to capture that metamorphosis from like 10 deep Daniel Kim to mushroom Daniel Kim. So that, yeah, it was a special time and place to be capturing the journey. There's some like full like flex fit hat 10 deep Daniel Kim tricks in there. And then there's full one glove street grab Daniel Kim tricks in there. So I love Daniel. I love all the iterations of Daniel, and I'm happy to have captured several of them within the video. Ching says, what's one of the craziest things you experienced during your trips in Japan? Please begin with Florida Man and refer to yourself in the third person when answering. Okay, well, this is not about me, but a different Florida man. After leaving a nightclub in the early hours of the morning, Florida Man, rather than wanting to make the trip down to Machida to get to sleep, decided to sleep in the rain between the building and the bushes. The person who it is will know who it is. Off Kilter says, were you surprised at all the amount of Spirit Quest DVDs you sold? I know a lot of people who have them, but it may just be an insular bubble of my skate friends and slapheads. Yeah, I was really surprised, and still surprised at the reception it gets. Considering Spirit Quest is the best soundtrack of any post-2010 skate video, how many of those tracks did you personally pick? Was it mostly just stuff you're already into, or music found to fit the vibe of the video? I picked all the songs, and most of them I found on my own. But several of them were submitted or, shared with me by the people whose parts there were as possibilities, and I thought they worked perfectly. So, yeah, Daniel Kim, his mom's song, he sent over, a couple of her songs, and his mom's song that was in there was incredible. Taylor's dad's song was in his part. Taylor sent me his middle song too. Connor made his own song in conjunction with with Quim and Ty Flowers and his cousin Tavo and me and a lot of other people. And then we had other ones that were just made by other people that weren't in the video, like Vince Kanger. So Plan Man says, "Hi Colin, big fan, and needless to say, I own this Spear Quest DVD, just so good. Thank you. What'd you have for lunch today?" And acai bowl. Double Steve Burger says, "Hey Colin, I was wondering, would you rather pee out a marble or poop out a softball?" I'd probably poop out a softball because I think a kidney stone is supposed to be the most excruciating thing you can possibly imagine, and a marble is much bigger than that, so I'd probably have to go with a softball. Not a question? Okay, behavioral guide. GoPro gives you free reign and a blank check for making a skate video. Any idea for how you might go about it? Who would be in it? Where? And most importantly, what you would do with their cameras? Also, for the sake of this hypothesis, let's pretend GoPro footage does not look like ass. Actually, GoPro footage looks amazing now. Yeah, I mean, GoPros now, they look incredible. And I've used a GoPro for a project, and the quality is actually amazing now. So, yeah, I'd be totally down. I would love to make something with a ton of GoPros. Well, and how I'd go about it, I really don't know. I have no idea. I'd love to try to do something with 360 cameras, though. Jim and Dan, who is Connor Cameron? He seems like a mystical legend of style and footwear choices. He is. He's a Renaissance man. He's a skilled musician and speaks many languages and is a very cultured, kind, generous gentleman. Right now he's working on mastering the slide guitar. Roba says, "What's your favorite skate video that you didn't make?" I mean, like all of them, right? I can't enjoy any of my own videos because I made them and I hate them. And I can't stand looking at them because I've spent so long with them. My favorite skate video that you didn't make, Mosaic, Photosynthesis, Blueprint Lost and Found, some of Reels videos, Nonfiction Kicked Out of Everywhere. I mean, there's like, I don't know. Every video that I didn't make is I think, better than mine. Old Death, again, says, corn on the cob or cream corn? Corn on the cob. I'm not a cream corn type of guy. Torpfeezer, maybe I'm looking too deep. There appears to be a heavy anime influence in some of your editing and music choices. If you're an anime fan, what are your favorite animes? Are you a subbed or dubbed guy? For someone who seems to really enjoy anime, I think he misspelled it every single time. I like some anime. I haven't watched a ton of it, but I dated a girl a long time ago who was into anime, so I watched some then. And what are my favorite animes? I mean, I think all the Studio Ghibli stuff is really amazing. So, probably one of those. Am I a subbed or dubbed guy? Subtitled for sure. I think like dubbed voices usually sound really awful. But yeah, there's definitely been pulled elements from. I used a song from Samurai Champloo in Tangu. So yeah, there's influences there for sure. Jal says, if Jesus comes back this weekend, which one of your many and varied sins will you ask him to forgive? I think just not being kinder to people. And I try to be kind to people and regret all the times that I wasn't in the past. What was the dog's name on the Brady Bunch? Oh, man. That's a deep cut. I watched a ton of Brady Bunch when I was a kid, but I cannot remember. Was there a dog? I don't even remember. Were you formally uninvited back to Eastern Europe, or was it more of a suggestion that you not return? It was a suggestion by Serg that I don't come back. No, I hope to come back. I'd love to go back to Croatia, if that counts as Eastern Europe. Go-to flavor of shake? Chocolate, milkshake. Can you find me a job in another country that I'd actually want to live in? No, I'm trying to find a job for myself in another country. On a scale of Bobby Warris to Leo Valls, how lame did you think it was that the fucking rock climbing movie won the Oscar over Bing? Well, both Bobby and Leo are my friends. But I think Bing definitely should have won the Oscar. It was a really human story, and I think the best documentary to come out that year. But I did also enjoy Free Solo. I mean, it was like watching a thriller movie. That was also a documentary. So that was awesome. Thank you for making such great skateboarding flicks. How many shitty local videos did you make before becoming a genius? And are there any links to them? Well, the first 2 videos I was involved in, I wasn't the filmer or editor. I was just in them and part of the friend group when I was like a kid in high school. And then in college, I made the first big video was the Mandible Claw video. So how many shitty local videos? I don't know. Were they shitty? I hope not. They were really fun and a lot of great memories wrapped in them for me. And I made other like random videos. I made one just of me and my friends skating through Europe one summer that we only showed once, like at a video premiere, and that was it. And then the Mandible Claw video, 561 NYC, and then after that it was right on to Tangu. So I really made 2 real full-length videos before Tangu. 561 to NYC, I made it pretty much start to finish in 4 months. So all that footage was filmed and edited pretty much within 4 months, which I don't know why the fuck I did that. But it's just, I don't know, I just made some stuff and I just wanted to spit it out really quick. And it turned out to be a fun video, and that answers the next question, how'd you get the slap gig? It was when stuff I was posting from that, somehow. I think, because I was posting on Slap and I was posting like progress on there. And Reno, who was editing Slap at the time, reached out to me and started working for Slap. Many thank yous, Joust. Thank you, Joust. Last one by Smells Dead. I just want to say thanks for answering my email lickety-split about Tangu and additionally sending me your older videos a long time ago. You're welcome. Tangu and Spirit Quest are all-time videos and have a certain type of entertainment value that is appreciated by skaters and non-skaters alike. I really don't need... I feel flattered by all the praise in here, but it is not necessary. Where/how do you find the music you use? I feel we have similar taste in that area. I don't know. That's a hard question. I mean,
You said everyone already.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I don't know, just digital crate digging. I'd always do a ton of digital crate digging just for skate videos and just also for my own entertainment. Best thrift store find? Found some pretty great shirts. I found one Hawaiian shirt that had lobsters on it. I really like that one. How do you feel about corn tortillas? I like them. Did that skater die in Tangu? No. And did you take any of those old ass porn tapes from that box? That's when Al Davis was living, at least lurking in my spot for a long time, and so he took back some tapes at my spot that I think he just left there, and so hopefully they were thrown out when moving happened. Hope to see another project from you in the future. So do I. And that's it. Thank you, everybody. It's been bizarre and funny and nice to think about old and terrible memories on Slap throughout the years. So hope to run into some of you guys on the streets.
Have morning coffee,